Good morning, dreamers. How are you today? Oh, still getting used to this. I have to go back to glasses for a little bit because next prescription I get, it's going to be bifocals, and I'm going to have to go back anyway. Oh, man. How are you? How are you, my friend? It's a day that is filled with memories. Filled with memories. 20 years ago, crisis, trauma. For those on the other side of the world that were saying goodbye to their family, knowing they would never return because they were to embark on a suicide mission. And to those in the West that had no idea they were saying goodbye for the last time. Crisis and trauma. The reaction to which determines your steps almost more than the crisis and trauma that were original. I think from therapy I learned the most important thing is to acknowledge that trauma has occurred. You must acknowledge that it's occurred. Because if we sit and we say, let's just grab our guns and go at it. I don't think the world ever takes time to corporately heal. And now we're deeply into a worldwide pandemic crisis. And instead of looking to each other for healing, we're looking to each other to draw sides, use our keyboards as weapons, our words as weapons. I'll post this article because look. I did post an article about the pandemic this week. It was from a friend of mine who is a young woman who's a nurse in a NICU nurse, and she's got 3 kids, and there were wee ones that passed this week because people were demonstrating outside of the hospital and the families couldn't get in. Are you kidding me? So I posted that article on that. Nurses are exhausted. They're fighting as much as they can. And how we respond to the crisis at hand determines our abilities as a corporation, not a corporation, but corporately, as a body, as a humanity, to move forward. I remember too when I was in the middle of a huge crisis of loss, crisis of divorce, crisis of shame, crisis of so much. And many people were analyzing my actions. My brother said, "Has anyone talked to you about how to move forward?" No one had. No one was looking at my future except to curse it. No one was caring about how the kids were going to proceed from here. So he did. And he stepped in and pastored me when I was adrift in the ocean of pain that I was in. But it was such a pivotal moment, a pivotal question. How do we move forward? Where do we go from here? Because what is happening is happening. You can't deny it. It's not, you can, but the crisis is occurring. So where do we go from here? For healing, for growth, for corporate care, for humanity's sake, for the sake of the one who created us. How do we unify spirits and say, look, We might not agree, but we can be unified. I'm sure there were tons of times when I was getting discipline and my parents didn't agree about what to do, but they were unified in front of me. I don't know. I just don't know. But these are the thoughts swirling through my head on this 20th anniversary. Where do we go from here? Because we need to remember the past so we don't repeat it. But I'm afraid we are repeating it. The war, the 20-year-long war that occurred because of the response to crisis. And then, are we going to have a 20-year-long war because of how our governments respond and we don't like it, and we are going to think we know better, and we're going to criticize those that don't agree with us. We're going to cancel relationships with people who don't see eye to eye with us. I turned my mug around because it's a sparrow. Don't tell me if I'm wrong. In my world, that's a sparrow. And it reminds me of the scripture that he clothes the lilies and gives nest to the songbirds. The old hymn, his eye is on the sparrow. And I know he watches me. So let not your heart be troubled. His eye's on the sparrow. He doesn't interfere, but he certainly cares about and walks with you through your individual pain. If you make a choice, he's not going to interfere with it, and he'll let things fall where they're going to fall. But if you're part of the thing that falls, he will catch you with his beautiful, loving, work-worn hand. Let not your heart be troubled. His tender word I hear, and resting on his promise, I lose my doubts and my fears, though by the pathway he leads, and only one step I can see. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. Sorry for singing with my morning voice. Take care, my friends, and have some beautiful, sweet dreams. Bye.